The continuing war in Ukraine is now responsible for creating the largest minefield in the world. That's according to Ukraine's prime minister. The Russian mines have killed or injured untold numbers. David Martin shows us what it will take for Ukrainians to break through those minefields.
This is what it takes to blast a path through a minefield. A monster of a vehicle, part tank, part bulldozer, fires a rocket attached to a cord of explosives.
That detonation, in turn, detonates the mines that are in the minefield.
Lieutenant Colonel Latoya Manzi's Engineer Battalion at Fort Carson, Colorado, is training to clear a path wide enough for a column of tanks to pass through and attack enemy lines.
Breach is probably one of the toughest things that we do.
How wide a lane does it clear?
It's about the width of an M1 tank.
That doesn't leave a lot of margin for error for a tank going through there.
No, it does not.
The same equipment and tactics these troops are using have been provided to Ukraine to breach the industrial strength minefields laid by Russia.
It's industrial in that it is deliberate and it's planned with a specific outcome in mind. That outcome is the denial of large amounts of Ukrainian land.
Mike Newton works with the Halo Trust, which has already begun clearing minefields the Russians left behind when they retreated from territory they occupied earlier in the war.
Areas that have been occupied for a significant amount of time have allowed Russian military engineers to lay minefields without much interference. And the majority of the minefields that we're seeing consist of hundreds, if not thousands, of anti-vehicle mines.
Spread that out along the entire front in eastern and southern Ukraine, and the numbers are staggering.
We're talking about millions of landmines spread across over 1,000 kilometers.
Retired General Ben Hodges is former commander of the U.S. Army in Europe.
It's not just like one line of mines sitting on top of the ground. It could be 200, 300 meters, 400 meters deep, and with a high density of mines.
How important is breaching these minefields to the success or failure of the Ukrainian counteroffensive?
It's essential. Until you get through that, you never have a chance to really break through Russian defenses and get to your real task, which is, of course, isolation and destruction of Russian forces.
Of all the battlefield tasks, how would you rate getting through a minefield?
Well, getting through any minefield or obstacle belt is extremely dangerous because you are so exposed.
The training at Fort Carson begins with suppressive fire to make the enemy keep his head down and smoke to hide what happens next. The armored breaching vehicle rumbles to the edge of the minefield, protected by 2 Bradley infantry fighting vehicles.
Time is a big deal, so we get in and out as fast as we can.
25-year-old Sergeant Jasmine Luna commands the vehicle, which carries a rocket attached to a 175-yard-long cord, coiled like a snake and packed with explosives.
It carries 100 meters worth of explosives.
You know how many pounds?
It carries over 2,000 pounds.
Launch the rocket. 311, 16, launch rocket.
She fires the rocket and it carries the cord out over the minefield. After she detonates the cord to set off the mines, she has to drive that plow into the minefield in case she missed any.
It's supposed to push out the mines, creating a path for us to get through and get the maneuvering force safely through right behind us.
Soldiers push in behind her to mark the left and right boundaries of the path she has cleared. In this exercise, they opened a single lane 100 yards long.
Go! 100 yards. So what happens if there is a minefield that's more than 100 yards?
You shoot once and then you'll shoot again.
On the front lines in Ukraine, rockets and their detonating cords are already arcing over the battlefield. But the path to victory remains blocked by Russian mines.